This is Amateur Faith Night, a podcast where real-life friends talk about real-life religion, where questions are encouraged, doubt is talked about, and following Jesus is our main priority. Let this be a starting place for you to research things and study them out for yourself. God is bigger than all of our questions, and it is okay to not have all of the answers.
We are coming to you live tonight.
I was not ready for
And
that.
Gary is here with us.
Wow.
Was not ready. Oh, and
Coming in. That is coming in hot.
Who's sending you?
Yeah.
You're sending? Okay.
Are you texting us?
Yes.
I'm right here. Okay.
Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, look at my sweater. Guess what we're doing?
We're,
Guess what we're doing?
we're doing Merry Mythmas.
Merry Mythmas. Merry Christmas. It's a Christmas special.
It is. I wanted to have Christmas decorations. I did get my Christmas earrings in. Well, they're not really Christmas.
Are you
They're
keeping
still
Christ in Christmas?
I mean, that's what it says on my shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. Christ.
But you know, the X is not all that bad. Do you know why they originally started using the X?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Save material.
No.
Was it a World War II thing?
No, they wanted to take Christ out of Christmas.
That is not correct.
Oh, dang it.
The X is actually a Greek symbol for Christ.
It's also the number 10.
Yeah.
I always call it Tenmas.
Tenmas.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the metal. Or the number.
Yeah.
Oh, 10.
It could be yeah.
Okay, that's not where I was going with that.
Aluminum.
So, we're doing Christmas episode.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we're going to start off with a song. Deck the halls, but guys, I thought we were...
Absolutely,
sorry.
Gary. It was your solo.
Sorry. Sorry.
I was not ready for that either.
So much you're not ready for.
I know. Dang it. I didn't prepare for this episode because this is all about Gary and Jeremy.
Ooh, are we going to play the non-political correct Christmas carols?
Let's not. We're
no.
We're not going to do that.
Okay.
No.
I don't know where he's going with that.
So something that it's fine. We're not going to go
For
there.
those that need to know, look up Larry the Cable Guy and Christmas carols.
Just don't save yourself. Just don't do it. Don't do it. So this episode was kind of born because the three of us are not exactly fans of Christmas.
And by fans, you mean, of course, we love celebrating the birth of Jesus.
Right.
But the bottom line is that the season is not about that anymore.
Exactly.
It's completely gone.
It's completely gone. It's all commercialized.
Yeah.
And before everybody gets on like the Santa Claus kick, and saying that, well, I don't celebrate Christmas with Santa. I like Santa. So
I actually think that time of year is very neat for like when you have young kids and those kind of memories and Santa Claus and the presents and the whole.
Exactly.
It's very fun and
It's fun.
creates great memories, but it doesn't celebrate Jesus.
No, it does not. And I feel like almost, and I know there are people with Christmas traditions that like put maybe more emphasis on Jesus, and a lot of people go to church, which I do. I'm not saying that I don't, but I do feel like the overall arching like vibe of Christmas is commercialism.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel a lot of stress. So it makes it just not fun for me.
I don't even know if someone could argue otherwise,
Yeah.
especially in America.
In America, for sure. I know people will take it personally because they'll say, Christmas is about Christ, and this is what I do, and this is what we do in our homes. And I know people who like bake birthday cakes for Jesus, and if that's your thing, then do it by all means. But
it has to be gluten free though.
well, for me, it does. It's true. It's true.
Well, in some states they can do, birthday brownies for Jesus.
Mm-hmm. They can.
Yeah.
And then a half hour later, you're really seeing Jesus.
Good God. I also
He spoke to me. I was like, Paul, he just appeared.
And then he told me to eat this bag of Cheetos.
Yeah, in the state of Missouri, that was a big thing this last election.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also feel like I have to clarify.
Moving on.
I don't have gout.
Oh. Yes, we did get scolded for our episode that we were left unattended.
I just feel like nothing was seeping out of my toes
No,
or
maybe not.
anything else disgusting like that.
All I remember was getting the text seriously when we were talking about, who was it? When we mentioned the music.
Oh, Striper.
Striper, yes.
Because you guys had a conversation about gout, which clearly
Yeah.
you know nothing about, and Striper.
Yeah, I got a text.
Not
from-
Galatians chapter 3, which was actually supposed to be a 2-part episode.
But we did a fine job of covering it.
We jammed it out.
So anyways, I just wanted to get that out in the open because that's, anyways. So back to Christmas. I think I don't remember how this conversation even got started originally.
Well, we were
Christmas.
I think we were talking about some of the really bad conspiracies that not so smart people follow.
Yeah. I don't remember what those were.
Oh, there's been a lot in the last several years, y'all.
Yeah, there has, but I just don't remember what that was in particular.
Which ones we were discussing.
Yeah.
But it led to, I think, us talking about the birth of Christ and how it's not actually in December, which we already knew that, but...
Right. But that's an important discussion because, which I think Gary has notes about this.
I do.
But I will say, I'm going to tell on our church, which I don't normally do that because I actually like our church. But last year during Christmas, I about fell out of my chair. Right? Because we sang this song, and it's a very popular song. It's called In the Bleak Midwinter. I guess it's a popular song. I personally never heard it until then, but I mean, I text a few people and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard that song. But anyway, we sang this at our Christmas service and I'm just sitting there going, this is the most just wrong. All the information is wrong. So the lyrics say, in the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long, long ago, angels and archangels may have traveled there. Cherubim and seraphim thronged in the air, but only his mother and her maiden bliss worshipped the beloved with a kiss. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I'd give him a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. But what can I give him? Give him my heart. Okay, what?
I'm sure it was snowing somewhere.
Right. We're talking about in the desert.
It can snow.
Not December. Or the winter, whatever. Because I know seasons are different in other areas of the world. I get that too. But come on. Why is that?
So,
why is this a Christmas song?
Well, I mean, have we looked into who wrote it? When it was written?
Because
if it's like a song from the 30s written in America, of course.
Song
those
by
people
Christina Rossetti and Gustav Holst. I don't know.
Gustav.
There you go. Thank you. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know when it was written.
I'm thinking it's an older song, maybe that's an uneducated type of lyrics. We celebrate Christmas on the 25th. It's going to be they were just throwing a little ditty together.
Really?
I can see where people would say it's pretty. It follows a lot of the maybe scenery that you would expect at Christmas, but no, it's not accurate at all.
No,
it's not. And how is that worshiping Jesus? Or
you give him his heart.
The lyrics say snow on snow on snow.
Well, you remember the drummer boy. All he wanted to give him was rum-pum-pum-pum.
Yeah. See, again, with the Christmas. What is that?
He was there. He came with Larry, Moe, and Curly.
Pum-pum-pum.
And they gave him frankincense, myrrh, and gold, right?
Good job.
All right.
Okay. Listening during Sunday school.
Okay.
So thoughts, Gary, because I know you were revving to go on this.
I'm not revving to go, but I did do. I mean, this is not. When I say did research, this isn't I wasn't in a library at 2 a.m. studying under candlelight.
Why not?
This was
Gary's got these ancient parchment scrolls.
Parchment that we're not.
Where is even a library?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not deep study. This was a Google search because it's pretty common, especially it's become more common in the last, I'd say, 20 years or so, just for people to try to get it. Yeah. And to Christians, it's not even Jesus' real birthday. Mm-hmm. Well, no one's arguing that. We're celebrating Jesus' birthday because that's just a tradition.
You should.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm bashing it, but I'm really not. I
There's
appreciate the sentiment behind
There's
it.
no problem with celebrating Jesus' birthday on
Right.
December 25th. It's no different than if I turned, whatever, a couple weeks ago and we couldn't get together for a month. And, hey, we're celebrating your birthdays. It's whatever. What I did realize and what I did discover was the most common belief is that Jesus was born in September.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was the spring.
Well, they say because the shepherds, a lot of people think the spring because the shepherds back at that time, all the cattle or the sheep were out in the pasture from like March to October. The interesting part, and I'm going to read it because I was going to try to memorize it, but it's just not going to happen. How they go into figuring out the September was all based around Zacharias and John the Baptist's birth.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this verbatim because it's way easier. So it says, we can find additional clues to answer the question of when was Jesus really born by looking at the birth of John the Baptist. Luke 1 tells Zacharias, who was from the priestly order of Abijah, I think that's how you say it, Abijah, priestly order of Abijah, and his barren wife, Elizabeth, becoming pregnant with John the Baptist after his days of service in the temple. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, Gabriel visited Mary with this news that she would give birth to Jesus. The approximate month of Jesus' birth can thus be determined by counting from the date of Zacharias' priestly service until the birth of Jesus. So Jewish priests were divided into 24 courses which ministered throughout the year in the temple. The order of Abijah was the 8th priestly course, and that's in 1 Chronicles 24, 6 through 19, which served in the temple during the 10th week of the priestly cycle. The start of the 10th week coincided with the second Sabbath in the month of Sivan, which runs approximately from mid-May to mid-June. Soon after Zechariah returned from his priestly duties, Elizabeth became pregnant with John the Baptist. So,
okay.
Luke...
That's a lot of math.
Yeah, so that they're putting it together for you. So Luke 1 through 24, 28 records the events. Now after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived, and she hid herself 5 months, saying, "The Lord has dealt with me in the days which he looked at me to take away my reproach among people." So now in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to the city of Galilee named Nazareth to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. Having come in, the angel said to her, "Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with you. Blessed among you women, and behold, you'll conceive in the womb." So that was the whole Jesus thing. So,
okay.
In conclusion, therefore, according to the texts above, we can approximate the month of Jesus' birth to be around the time of the Tishri, mid to late September. To arrive at this date, start at the conception of John the Baptist, Sivan in June, count forward 6 months to the arrival of Gabriel's announcement of the conception of Jesus, which was Kislev in December, then count forward 9 more months as the time it takes human gestation to reach the Tishri September, which Jesus was born.
Good job.
Again.
But seriously, I didn't know that. I always thought it was the spring.
So in almost every, I read probably 15 different articles, and almost all of them now are starting to think
September.
The September.
Yeah, which
because
that makes
of that,
total sense.
Because of looking into that.
I came across some documentation to support that as well, but the same person that I was reading that said there's actually indication that the early church, and when I say early church, we're not talking Peter and John, talking, a couple generations down the road.
Oh, I thought you meant the 9 a.m. service. Go ahead.
But the early church celebrated around the end of December because that would have been the approximate time of the Immaculate Conception.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were saying. Yeah.
Because 9 months from December to September.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's September
we ended up with
is within the March to October-ish, sheep out in the pasture deal.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm going to pause this.
And maybe there was a little snow on the ground late September.
Hold on.
And action.
I will cut that.
Why not?
I'm just teasing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yes, Septembers were...
That is interesting. But...
So Jesus, we missed your birthday. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I almost wish there was... Am I bothering you because I have coffee on my face?
No. This is an eyelash.
Okay, sorry.
A mustache, one of the two.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, my hair looks like a trainer too.
Why didn't the makeup girl catch that?
I don't know. She's slacking.
Freaking
makeup.
Yeah. We need to hire a new one.
Yep.
Anyways, I don't even know where I was going now. I wish there was a separate day, which I know it started out probably sincere to celebrate Christ on December 25th. I just feel like at this point it's like a lost cause.
Yeah.
And I wish there was like a day, fine, if we want to celebrate Christmas with our families, give gifts, do whatever tradition wise, but then there was just like another time set aside for actually what Christmas is for.
It's called Sunday morning.
That's true.
I mean, really, we're just we're holding
true.
strong to Easter, I guess, because at least we still have that. That's more of a Christ celebration, but I think sadly, the whole Christmas deal is kind of, as far as celebrating Christ, is done.
Right. Well, and I know there's a lot of people that, like I know a lot of people don't put up Christmas trees or things like that because it's supposedly pagan origin. What?
I'm just listening.
Oh, I thought you had a thought.
Go.
Acted like you were going to say something.
I'm listening.
Okay. Anyway, but what are you doing? Did you have an addition to that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
I asked you.
Proceed.
This is the section of the broadcast when we turn to marriage counseling.
I was just
How are you
thinking
feeling
out
right
loud
now, Jen?
about Christmas trees and how people claim that they're from pagan origins, and I honestly have no idea if they are or not. But at the same time, I don't feel like I worship my Christmas tree either. So
Ding, 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 ding. We're about to discuss Christmas trees.
okay,
So,
no, that was my segue, and I was trying to give it to you.
okay. You were talking about the pagan origin thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also read a lot about that too. Is that just like it's a lot of rumor. Like it's a kind of a rumor that kind of took
There's
hold.
There's no real documentation to support that.
Right.
Right.
Now the Roman Catholic Church back in the day, that winter solstice was very important to them, and it was around the December-ish time, so they kind of latched onto that time frame. But there was no the whole pagan thing. I think really is an easy way to say, well, it's just a pagan holiday anyway, because there was a lot of holidays around that winter solstice time.
Right. So that's the big question right now. Are you a pagan with a capital P? Are you a pagan full of idolatry?
Okay,
Are you a pagan
these are song
with
lyrics.
a Christmas tree?
And that is not.
Because if you're a pagan, you're going to be frying like bacon. You're a pagan, you're a pagan, you're a pagan. So a lot of maybe your old-time Christians or the Christians that want to maybe appear like they have secret knowledge, they're part of the Illuminati or whatever. They have this special, endowment that has been given to them.
Okay, point being.
They want to harsh on our Christmas trees. I like a Christmas tree. We used to get real ones. We liked them because they smell nice. They're pretty. But too many people in the household are allergic to them, so doctor said we can't do that no more.
Yeah, now we have a fake one.
It's too bad.
I know. Jordan kept getting sick every single Christmas, and we're like, why? And then the doctor's like, throw your tree away.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was actually a Christmas Eve. I went out and got a fake one. I had to buy the display.
I think I would have just waited till the
I don't
next
think
year.
it was quite Christmas Eve. I think it was like December 22nd or something stupid.
Okay.
Like it was really close to Christmas.
But they sold me the display. Yeah.
Anyway.
So a lot of times they'll go to Jeremiah chapter 10, and I'm just going to read a few verses here. This is from the ESV, so you KJV only people, I'm sorry. Learn not the way of the nations, nor be dismayed at the signs of the heavens, because the nations are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vanity. A tree from the forest is cut down and worked with an axe by the hands of a craftsman. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with hammer and nails so that it cannot move. Their idols are like scarecrows in a cucumber field, and they cannot speak. They have to be carried, for they cannot walk. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do any good. There is none like you, O Lord. You are great, and your name is great in might. Who would not fear you, O King of the nations? For this is your due, for among all the wise ones of the nations, and all the kingdoms there is none like you. They are both stupid and foolish. The instruction of idols is but wood. Beaten silver is brought upon tarnish, and gold from Upas. Oh, yeah. They are the work of craftsmen in the hands of a goldsmith. The clothing is violet and purple. They are all the work of skilled men, but the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. So this set of verses is what a lot of people will use, saying that you can't have a Christmas tree. But generally, they're going to stop at verse 4. And when you read this in context, 1, Gary, have you ever cut down a Christmas tree yourself?
We have, yeah.
Okay. Are you a wood craftsman?
No.
And my next thing would be, if you were a wood craftsman, do you have the ability to melt down silver and gold and then adorn the crafted tree?
I haven't adorned many trees with melted silver.
You have?
No, I haven't.
Oh, have not. Okay. And then we've even got here where, like, the writer, Jeremiah, is likening it to a scarecrow, saying it cannot speak. So he's
but
obviously...
Excuse me.
What's a scarecrow in a
cucumber
field?
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
What does that
So
mean?
all I'm hearing is I can put up a Christmas tree and eat pickles.
Well, no.
Point.
If you,
but that is a tradition.
Is
Hang
it?
a pickle
Yeah.
in a tree in Germany.
There you go. That's the origins of it. We're figuring stuff out now.
Yeah, my people from the land of yore, they used to get the pickle out of the tree.
Oh, my Lanta.
But no, I mean, if that's the case, if you're going to say you can't have a Christmas tree, then you shouldn't be eating cucumbers, especially if there's a scarecrow in the field.
Yeah, I mean, so many things going on here.
I don't...
But obviously, this is talking about them taking a tree, carving it into an idol, because they even in later verses talk about clothing it in violet clothing, and
I mean, that could be ribbon.
they carve a mouth. They adorn it with gold and silver, so it's not a tree anymore. It's an actual idol that they're bringing in their home. So unless you're, I don't know, bowing down to your Christmas tree and worshiping it, Gary, have you ever sacrificed a goat to your Christmas tree?
No.
I mean, we keep
not
the
a
one
goat,
out back
no.
just in case.
Not a goat.
No? Okay. But, I mean, come on, folks. That's not talking about a Christmas tree. And how could it? Christ wasn't even alive yet.
Also valid point.
It's true. So I did learn that the first recorded Christmas on December 25th was our pal, the Roman Emperor Constantine in 336.
Okay.
He's the first one that did it on December 25th.
And what was the purpose for his Christmas? I mean, was it pagan or was it about Christ?
It was, they suggest the Roman Catholic Church decided on December 25th, such as the date's links to the winter solstice, a festival devoted to the Roman deity Saturn.
Oh, okay. So the Christians stole it.
The dates.
The date.
The date. Got it. Okay.
But it wasn't necessarily pagan. It was just another...
Right. But again,
I guess
we're
it
not
would,
worshiping Saturn.
Right.
So,
yeah, I guess it could. I mean, if you want... How loosely do you use the word pagan? Maybe.
Right. Well, and it's like Halloween. I feel like I don't worship Satan on Halloween when we go let the kids get candy.
Yeah. It's...
Maybe the Great Snicker bar.
So many... What I guess what's bothersome is like some of these... I don't know what the right word would be. Purist Christians or the people like, oh, you shouldn't celebrate, take part in Christmas because it's not... It's that whole deal of like cast the first stone. Like there's no one perfect. Like you could find 1,000 things that they're doing in their life that could be quote unquote non-Christian.
Right.
I'm sure you guys have good Christmas traditions. Our family has Christmas traditions where you really appreciate that time together. You spend a lot of time with extended family you may not see a lot. I don't know how you guys are, but I mean, it's...
Yeah, we don't see anybody on Christmas.
So...
That's our rule.
I participate because out of obligation as a father and a husband. It's not exactly my favorite thing in the world, but it's a lot of family time, which it's a lot, surrounded by a lot of love and just enjoying each other. So there's really, maybe you're not celebrating Christ per se, but you're still, kind of in that spirit of giving and kindness and all that stuff. So I mean, in a way you are, but it's still a big commercial trap that where, if you're not careful, you might spend $3,000 on crap you don't need.
Exactly. And that's why it's so stressful for me because I feel like we have completely taken... I feel like we have not abused. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of what it is. But like we have taken the reasoning for celebrating Christ and we have turned it into something that is completely not glorifying to God.
Right.
And which is, again, I have nothing against giving gifts and celebrating, but I also feel like don't twist that into saying, well, we're doing this for Christ,
Right.
because we're not.
It's not.
It's selfish.
It's totally in like a carnal satisfactory, like you're
Right.
satisfying this, everything opposite of what you're supposed to be thinking about.
Exactly. And not to like toot my own horn or anything like about us, but like one year Jeremy and I were both so fed up with it. We're like, this is ridiculous. Like we have all of these people to buy for, and you feel like you have to because they all buy for your kids, so whatever. We have a bigger family, so I just felt like, oh my gosh, our money was really tight, and I'm like, I have to buy for 30 people or whatever, and it's just so much stress that we were like, you know what, no, because our kids have everything. And the people that we're buying for, they have everything.
Yeah.
So anything that I give them, they're not going to really appreciate it because they already have 100 other things. So I sent out letters in like September to everyone. And I said, do not buy my family anything for Christmas. Don't expect anything from us. If you would like to, we are going to be sponsoring a family through Salvation Army. And all of my money that I would spend on Christmas is going to that family. And if you would like to donate, you can do that.
And it did.
And I will put that toward it. But my kids got whatever would fit in a stocking under like $50, and I didn't buy my extended family anything, and that was like one of the best Christmases we've had. Like we slowly got dressed in the morning. We read because we do read the Christmas story in the morning, Luke chapter 2. And then we went to the movies and we just hung out as a family and we just had a good time. And I know a lot of my family was a little upset about that because I didn't get to buy my kids stuff. But it's like, my kids, they don't remember what they got for Christmas last year. They have no idea. They have no idea. And you can't sit here and say that's honoring to God. That's like materialistic and gluttony.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, I think there's a stage of life with your kids that it's really neat. Mm-hmm. And then, when they're still in this belief of like the little fairy tale Santa Claus and all that stuff, it's neat. It's just really, we had a lot of fun with it with the boys. But I mean, now we were just talking about it last night. She's like, Kelly's like, what are we doing for the boys for Christmas? I'm like, nothing. I'm not planning on doing anything. So I might get them something, but it's not going to be like you were just talking about. There is nothing our kids don't have that they don't need or want, or like, it's just, at this point I'm so tired of just trying to satisfy what we're supposed to do. Like you're talking about, like, oh, we're supposed to get them these presents. Like, no, what do they really need?
Yeah, the man says you have to buy presents.
So I put my foot down. I said, now stop talking and clean the dishes.
Right.
And laundry.
I know that did not happen at your house.
But yeah, but I've been a Grinch for a while. The whole season bugs me.
I feel guilty for feeling that way because I don't want to feel that way, but it's just not. I don't know. To me, it's not enjoyable. I feel like we as Christians as a whole, I'm not saying that there are not people who celebrate it properly, but I feel like as a whole, we have taken something that has potential to be like very deep and meaningful time of year, and we have turned it into selfish.
I don't even think it was intentional. I think Christians over history, or over let's say the last 70 years in our country, we're slowly kind of just guided into it. If you look back at even like A Christmas Story, those shows like that, or yeah, they were doing presents and stuff back then, but it was never to the excess of what it is now. Like,
well, Laura Ingalls Wilder, she got like what, a cup and a shiny penny.
Yeah, I mean, she
got a peppermint stick.
We were willing participants, and kind of just how this whole Christmas got facilitated into this just big commercialism, waterfall of just so much gluttony, which was awesome when you were a kid.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like
kids aren't complaining.
When I got, I don't know how you put this, the more successful I got as a husband and a father, and could afford like neater toys for my kids, there was a satisfaction to being able to provide your kid like
Right.
something that they didn't think they'd ever see.
Mm-hmm.
And that builds into it too as a parent, where you're like, yeah, I can do this for my kid, and you go above and beyond, and you get that one extra thing, or maybe you.
But then is it a pride issue?
It is
Well,
100%.
100%,
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
I'm doing this because I can do it.
100%.
And this is
It's not because
definitely
God provided it.
No, it's
Right.
100%
First
a
world
pride
problems.
thing. Yeah, and I can say that in my case, for sure, there was a handful of Christmases there where our boys got way too much stuff, and it was simply because I'm like, I can do this for them. Like, it
Right.
was a total pride thing.
Yeah.
The stuff that I don't even know if there's things they probably never even opened or used but once or twice, but I went ahead and got it because I could.
Mm-hmm.
And it satisfied some kind of internal pride.
we want to give good gifts to our kids. That's
Yeah.
even in the Bible. Like parents, they want to do that, and when you can, it's nice. I haven't always been able to, but yeah, like you said, like the years that you can, you want to do that for your kids, but at the same time, I just feel like at this point, my kids don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And my kids
They
already
expect it.
Yeah, and they already have everything, and they both work. They have jobs, so if they want something, they go buy it. You know,
Right.
so there's nothing that they have to have, and there's nothing that they really want, and that's really sad to say. Honestly, that just is really sad
So
to say.
what do you think, what's your opinion? Does the United States, does the American culture ever get back to a point of Christmas being all about Christ?
No,
No, I don't see that happening.
no.
Not in our lifetime, I
No.
don't think.
I think it would be many generations down the road
A
before
massive
something
shift of.
it would have to be. Actually, I think it would have to be like an economic collapse and a rebuild.
Yeah, like a more appreciative, be thankful for the rocks too.
Kind of like a serious 20s depression kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, there's no motivation for anyone not to even put the focus on Christ, especially in our culture.
Right.
We get made fun of.
Well, we're outnumbered. I
Yeah.
feel like, so, but I don't want it to sound like I think there's something wrong with celebrating Christmas. Like I participate in all that. I decorate my house a little bit, not as much as I know some people do. You know who? But
I don't know who.
yeah, you do. Anyways, he'll call me out. I guarantee it. I will get a text message when this
And she.
episode airs. Yes, 2 people.
Our friends to the south and our friend to the north.
Anyways, but that's why I feel like I can't get behind it, because I feel like it's just masking what Christmas should be about. And yeah, you could put a nativity scene in your yard and try to bring the focus in, but I almost feel like that's idolatrous too. I mean, it's probably not. It's probably just
that.
me, but I know that there were some people that I have known in my lifetime that instead of putting up a tree, they would put up a nativity scene in their living room and put presents around it.
What about an inflatable Jesus in your front yard, and every morning he rises? No, I don't know. Sounds like an idea.
would
Though.
be- that would be more for Easter.
We could make money on that. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, it would be an Easter thing.
What?
No,
Oh, you.
I'm enjoying it.
I know you're on your phone.
I
I feel
know.
like you want to say something
No, I'm good.
because you're looking up stuff.
I am looking up stuff. It's fine.
He just looked up inflatable Jesus.
I know,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to turn
Yeah,
out
don't-
for you.
Do not Google search that.
Probably not a good idea. But yeah, I don't want it to sound
Maybe.
like we're super against Christmas.
Yeah, I think
But-
you're right. That's a good point to make. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not, like you said, not against Christmas, and so it's, for me, it's just knowing that I'm going to get aggravated here, and probably within the next 2 weeks, of watching the onslaught of the commercials and all the things that go on to pull people in to go just overspend, thinking that that's the bottom line of happiness.
Right. Right.
And
And it's not. The Christmas Jennifer was talking about with our kids, it was probably one of the more memorable Christmases.
Well,
100%.
Kelly's family, side of the family, years ago, we decided instead of buying gifts for everybody, we do these homemade gifts. Everybody draws
Yeah, okay, but
everybody's-
Kelly's family is ridiculously talented. They're
Well,
all like
Yeah.
crazy talented.
It took a turn the year. It used to be just silly stuff. And then one year, I made my brother-in-law a cutting board because he's a chef. I spent a lot of time on it. It was very...
So you are a craftsman.
Okay, Gary's also crafty. Sorry,
So
not just Kelly's family.
it was all, and it was, everybody was like, wow. And then the year after that, everybody went insane on these gifts. Now it's like an expectation that if you don't turn over like this handmade, crafted, best thing in the world, that you're just some kind of fail. It's so much pressure now, and it's been about 7 or 8 years of that.
Oh, see, that's just not fun.
I have to show you all the stuff
in my
we've
family,
done.
we used to have a tradition to do like a white elephant gift,
Mm-hmm.
and we made it fun. Like I was a kid, so it was probably like not as much fun for the adults, but we used to do that every year when I was like younger and a teenager and young married, but. My family doesn't do that anymore, and I kind of hate that we don't, because that we didn't have to buy, and it was fun. It's just a fun time to be together.
It's yeah, that goes back to what we were talking. I was saying earlier, like that that time together is, you appreciate it, but it can also be. Well, our pastors talked about that before, like on Father's Day, Mother's Day. Like there's times of the year where they're supposed to be happy and joyous little occasions, but for some people it's outright miserable because it's tied to horrible trauma.
Right.
So I'm sure there's people out there that once Christmas starts rolling around, they want to literally just hide.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I can see that.
Yeah.
But I do have a something else I was reading about the Magi
Okay.
that I found interesting, because you're always like, why are these 3 dudes show up to Jesus' birth?
It doesn't actually say there were 3.
What?
Yeah, it's,
There's 3 gifts.
Yeah.
Doesn't say there was 3 magic.
So what they were saying with the people that showed up, they were Persian. And if you recall, Daniel, I think that's who it was.
Daniel was chief of the Magi.
He's the one that interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So the Magi back then were, would they say, they had to have a knowledge of science, agriculture, mathematics, history. Their religious and political influence continued to grow as they became more prominent and powerful. In the Babylonian Empire, they were kind of monotheistic, so they only believed in one God. Like, they were very researched people. And after Daniel did this for Nebuchadnezzar, they got really focused on, he kind of introduced Judaism and everything, and talked about this Savior to come and stuff. So they got super focused on that aspect of it too. And it basically just saying they were Magi were the highest ranking officials in Babylon. Because the Lord gave Daniel the interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dreams, he was appointed ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief, over the wise men and so on and so forth. So basically, because of Daniel's high position and respect among the Magi, it got them focused on who's this prophet to come, so to speak, or this king to come, So it kind of came out of Persia because of that, what Daniel did.
This is a really stupid question, and I probably should know the answer to this, but what made them go?
It was a
originally?
dream. It was a vision.
It was a vision?
Yeah.
So
And they were talking about the
focused on
star,
finding-
and that there was like prophecies about
Clearly, I need to
of
read this story again.
astrological events. They were talking about we saw his star, and
But a lot of people believe that they
Interesting.
were there at the birth. They weren't actually there at the birth.
No.
no,
It's actually
They-
more likely Jesus was a toddler.
yeah,
when
they came.
showed up.
Yeah, they're thinking like 2 or 3 years old.
Right. Yet
Right.
another thing that
Yeah.
we get wrong with our Christmas celebrations, like the nativity
Yeah.
scene itself.
Mary's, got the. I was gonna say something really gross there. I just stopped myself.
Plus,
No, I was gonna go even further.
Oh, stop.
So, sometimes I get too descriptive in my own head. Yeah, Mary's laying there just in the aftermath,
Why?
and all of a sudden these 3 dudes are there.
here, let me help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So who bit the umbilical cord?
Stop. Why? Why would you say that? Anyway, rewind.
little known fact. There was.
Magi.
I'm just kidding.
Magi.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was neat that I didn't know that. Because you think about the 3 wise men, and like they show up at the birth the day of and all that stuff. No, it was
Right.
probably years after that, and they were basically influenced hundreds of years before by a tool of God to really start getting honed in on this, Messiah prophecy, and they were just keeping an eye out for it.
Right. I had forgotten about the whole vision thing. Huh. Maybe I need to go back and study this. But so far, or to recap, I should say, Jesus was not born in December. There was not 3 magi or wise men at the nativity scene.
There may have been.
And
we don't know.
Christmas trees aren't pagan. And it did not snow on Jesus' birth.
And
It did somewhere.
And if you use cucumbers on your salad,
Right.
That came
Just
from a
saying.
field with a scarecrow
right, it's true.
that was also growing Christmas trees.
My God. I do want to know, like, why a cucumber field? Like, what's the significance of, like, not having a scarecrow in a cucumber field?
Aren't cucumbers underground anyway?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know my
no, they
produce.
grow above.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, you need a scarecrow for that for sure. Yeah.
What?
Wouldn't you, though, for real? I don't know. I don't know anything about
I mean,
planting
you
stuff, clearly.
you'd want a scarecrow if you didn't want like birds and stuff in there eating all your cucumbers.
Right, so why would it be a bad thing to have a scarecrow in a cucumber field? Why would that be like...
He was comparing the idols that they were making to a scarecrow. The scarecrow is like dumb and lifeless.
Oh, I thought he was saying like a scarecrow in a cucumber field. It's useless. Like...
No, not that it's useless.
Got you. That makes way more sense. I was reading
scarecrow
way
is
too much into that.
Not alive. It doesn't speak. It
Got
can't
it.
do anything for you.
Okay, got it. So it's like...
It's kind of like the people that put like the fake owl in their backyard to scare
Who?
away the birds.
But at the same time, the scarecrow does do stuff. Let's be honest. It does. I mean, it has a purpose.
But it doesn't have brain.
No. Anyways, that was completely off topic at this point, but yeah. I don't know why I was fixating on that.
And so to wrap this up, if any of you are at Christmas dinner, and for those of you that have maybe left the apostolic faith,
I love how you use quotes. It's actually what it's called.
yeah, but that's not actually what it is.
Okay, yeah, true.
Those
Okay,
of you
That's true.
people out there.
People, that's right, people.
That was like Chris Farley movie.
But if you feel the need to slap a heretic, just remember, Saint Nick did it as well.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. We're on to Saint Nick. He's a jolly green fella.
Well-
Wait, he's not green. Thinking of jolly green.
I
guy.
told Jeremy he could not get into that
Why not?
Because we're gonna save it
because
for.
we're gonna save it for next year.
Oh,
The whole story about Saint Nick.
so people got to wait a year to
And how
hear
he
about
slapped
Saint
a
Nick.
heretic.
Come back in 1 year.
Well, I felt like that would be a lot of stuff to cover.
It's a lot to cover.
It is a lot to cover.
But if you do feel
Right.
need to slap a heretic, which is probably one of your family members that has really bad theology, feel free. Saint Nick did it. He was a real saint.
It's also true. I will also post a picture of the gift I got Jeremy last year. I wanted to get it out and have it ready, but I can't lift anything because I just had shoulder surgery. So anyways, couldn't find it in our Christmas stuff.
Also, if you want to have fun, sometime next September, maybe like the 17th or 18th, just start celebrating Jesus' birthday.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, but
See
don't
what
buy
people-
yourself stuff for it because that's pointless.
Maybe if we're still recording episodes next September, we'll have
just-
a cake here for Jesus.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We're not going to do that.
I think we should. We wear hats.
My word.
Cupcakes. Maybe cookie cake.
Yeah.
No cookie cake.
No brownies for sure. Okay, so don't hate on us because you think we hate Christmas, because we don't hate Christmas.
love Christmas.
We enjoy our families most of the time and like to buy presents for our kids. Clearly, we all have issues, but I just hate that I feel like it has been robbed of the true purpose, and I almost feel like going over the top to celebrate is like wrong to me personally. That's just my own conviction. I have nothing against anybody else that wants to do that at all, but I just can't do it. But anyway, so next episodes are going to be huge.
Huge.
Gonna be huge.
It's going to be, we're going to break down hair.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Gary's super excited. to
Holy
hear about
magic
this
hair, Gary.
Crazy
Holy
hair
magic
topic.
hair.
He's been very
I
inquisitive.
cannot wait.
So,
HMH.
Holy magic hair.
yeah. So anyway, that should be our January episodes. I think we're gonna do 3. I have 3 planned episodes.
That's a lot of hair.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
a
let-
huge topic.
Well, I'm going to let you know right now, the viewers out there, the co-hosts, that probably won't have a lot to say on that because I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's why you're here, Gary,
Okay.
so you can ask good questions.
All right.
Because sometimes I forget that people don't know what I'm talking about.
I know I've been made aware of the holy magic hair.
Yeah.
Right. Probably more so in the last year than you ever had been, right?
Never even knew it was a thing. Yeah.
So,
And
anyway.
we're going to get rid of the witches. Yeah. Okay.
So please like this video
And subscribe.
and subscribe.
Did you put them somewhere?
If you
I
don't,
will. They'll be down.
if you don't, your punishment will be
Oh my gosh, why? Why?
We're
are
going
you
to
saying-
send you a bag of cucumbers.
yes. The came
Okay.
from a field with the scarecrow.
Okay.
And we just want to wish everyone here this evening that we're going to have the happiest Christmas. Clark Griswold.
Clark Griswold.
Inside in that house. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.